I am reading this article from my blog, link in the description. The importance of speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues is important for a number of reasons. There is no way a gift of the Holy Spirit can fail to be important. However, the importance of speaking in tongues only matters to those who value it. To those who despise the gift, it is worthless. God only reveals the importance of speaking in tongues to those who receive the gift with a grateful heart. How do I know the importance of speaking in tongues? Because I have the gift and I exercise it as often as I can. Over the years, I have come to appreciate the importance of the gift of praying in tongues. At the moment, my spiritual life heavily depends on this gift. The importance of speaking in tongues. 1. Speaking in tongues makes prayer efficient. Speaking in tongues is easy. When you have the gift, praying becomes your second nature. Anytime, anywhere, you can pray. This is very important considering that the Bible urges us to pray without ceasing. If you have the gift of speaking in tongues, you will realize that praying without ceasing is not anything difficult. The purpose of prayer is to keep us in close contact with God. Since the fall of man, God hid himself from us and we can only access him through prayer. Once you realize that prayer is the only avenue through which you can access God, it goes to show how speaking in tongues is important. When you have the ability to pray in tongues, you don't have to worry what to say to God every time you decide to pray. All you do is open your mouth and let the Holy Spirit make intercession for you. Since the Holy Spirit knows the deep thoughts of God, he knows what to pray to God on your behalf at any given time. As a result, you will get your prayers answered whether you knew what you are praying for or not. Speaking in tongues is very important in automating prayer. 2. Praying in tongues makes prayer effective. Have you not read that the effective fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much? How do you make an effective prayer if not by praying in tongues? The effectiveness of a prayer lies in the content of the prayer and its delivery. If you ask for the right thing from God, he will not deny you. If you ask for anything in the right way, God will grant you your request. But getting the content of a prayer to match God's guidelines is not easy. First, it is not easy for many people to know what God's view on a matter is. Second, getting the right words to express some issues is hard. This is why praying in tongues is important. With praying in tongues, the Holy Spirit finds the right words to pass the message to God. At the same time, the Holy Spirit composes the message for you. Your responsibility is to give the Holy Spirit access to your tongue and time for him to do what he does best. 3. Praying in tongues reveals mysteries. How do you describe a mystery? Well, it's a mystery. God has infinite mysteries. The only way to access them is to let the Holy Spirit guide you. Since we commune with God through prayer, we can use it to unlock the mysteries of God. But praying in understanding is greatly limited when it comes to unlocking the mysteries of God. Since mysteries are unknown, how do you start asking God about them? But with praying in tongues, you can ask for mysteries that you have no idea about. The Holy Spirit who prays through you speaks mysteries to God, and God answers back with mysteries. I have learned from experience that there are many things in the Spirit that human languages cannot describe. In such cases, only speaking in tongues can get the work done. I have had encounters, and the only way I could communicate in those encounters was by speaking in tongues. There was a day I felt love from God like never before. I didn't have words to thank God for the love, but I worshipped him through speaking in tongues. If you don't speak in tongues, such encounters will pass you. This is another reason why speaking in tongues is important. 4. Speaking in tongues saves time. Speaking in tongues is important to any believer because of the amount of time it saves. There are a lot of things that we need to get from God through prayer. For a believer who has the gift of speaking in tongues, he can ask for multiple things from God in a single prayer session. Relying on understanding when praying limits how much we can ask from God at a time. Since you have to know something to ask for it, it will take long to ask God for things that are hard to understand. The result will be a slow-moving life, or in most cases, a stagnant life. But by speaking in tongues, your life moves exceedingly fast. The things you need at a given stage in life are given to you right on time, or even before you get to that stage. I'm so grateful that I began speaking in tongues early in my life. The speed at which I have grown in matters of life makes me smile. A big part of it was because of speaking in tongues. 5. Speaking in tongues overcomes the enemy. We are in a constant battle with the enemy. The devil tries all means possible to destroy our faith in Jesus. Through prayer, we overcome him. But fighting against the devil in prayer of understanding is a lot of work. The devil can easily understand what you are saying, and in return he comes up with countermeasures. God knew the devil is cunning and gave us the gift of praying in the Spirit. Of course, the devil is no match for the Spirit of God. By praying in the Spirit, you allow the Holy Spirit to fight against the devil on your behalf. Does that not make speaking in tongues very important? If you have the gift of speaking in tongues, treasure it and work to grow it. If you don't have the gift, seek to have it. Speaking in tongues is very important for every believer. That is why it is called a gift. Pursue it.